Hi, this is Galit Goldfarb, and thank you very much for joining me here today. Today I'm going to be talking about how diet can improve mental health. Eating a healthy diet can improve not only your physical health, but also your mental health, which is the core component of optimal health and overall well-being. It is obvious that mental health is crucial for anyone's personal life, but it also improves one's financial status by reducing medical and social expenses and enhances the state of a nation. Therefore, people and governments are very interested in improving the population's mental health state, and the best way to do this is through diet. Now, there is ample evidence that confirms that an unhealthy diet is a significant risk factor, not only for chronic diseases such as cancer or heart disease and diabetes, but also for mental health disorders. In fact, the research shows that the same nutritional factors related with chronic health conditions share a common aspect with the risk of mental health conditions as well. And in this video, I will mention these aspects, as well as specific foods that will help you improve your overall mental health and well-being. So let's begin with the healthy diet and mental health connection. Our central nervous system and our brain need key nutrients to maintain optimal function and to support our mental health as well. Nutrition also affects brain plasticity, the brain's ability to change throughout our life in response to certain influences, which is vital for mental health. Connections between nutritional status and mental health states have been proven, especially for depression, cognitive function, dementia, and psychiatric disorders. And the prevalence of mental disorders is on a rise currently, leading to a disturbance in a person's cognition, emotional regulation, and behavior. A systematic study published in 2014 has shown a link between healthy diet and mental health in children and adolescents. The research shows that there is a correlation between the two from a very, very early age, and following healthy dietary routines is vital for a child to grow into a healthy adult with a positive mental health. Now, another study from 2018 showed that young adults aged 18 to 25 with low access to healthy foods will suffer from many mental health symptoms, including depression, anxiety, and even substance use disorders, and much more. Now, this is all attributed to the high stress levels that they have and their college environment. Now, unfortunately, mental health issues affect 22% of the United States young adult population, and these figures are similar through most of the Western world. Increased access to healthy foods at affordable prices, also in school campuses, will lead to improved mental health states and well-being of young adults. Now, unhealthy diets and obesity are directly linked. The higher the obesity, the higher the risk for depression, and the link goes both ways as well, because depression was found to also lead to obesity. Now, some specific foods have found to have a very positive effect on mental health. So let's see what these foods are. Here is a list of 5 food groups that you should eat to improve your mental health. The first one is serotonin elevating foods. The amino acid tryptophan is a precursor to the release of serotonin, which is referred to as nature's happy pill. Although 90% of the serotonin is produced inside the intestines for appetite and digestion regulation, 10% is produced in the brain for the regulation of mood, sleep, and memory. Now, although it is well known that tryptophan is found in animal products, especially in poultry, consuming animal products will not help the tryptophan reach the brain and have its calming effect there. The reason is that although blood tryptophan will rise following the consumption of animal products, there will be a reduction in brain tryptophan levels, and this is because tryptophan is the last amino acid to transverse the blood-brain barrier, as it competes with the other amino acids to get in there, to get into the brain. So how can this be changed, allowing more tryptophan to reach the brain? Simple. The answer is a high carbohydrate diet. A high carbohydrate diet triggers the release of insulin, and this leads the muscles to take up the other amino acids for fuel while leaving the amino acid tryptophan available to be absorbed by the brain for serotonin production. Now, when people experience carbohydrate cravings, this is often a message from our brain to get in more tryptophan in order to alleviate mental health issues, stress, anxiety, depression. But unfortunately, many people fear that the consumption of carbohydrates will lead to weight gain, and they try to avoid carbohydrates only to find themselves consuming sugar-rich foods, running off and consuming a cake. That will lead to a surge in insulin release. And if there is sufficient protein in the diet, then more tryptophan will indeed enter the brain, leading to more serotonin production, allowing people to feel better. But this is only for the short term. Instead, you want to consume whole grain, carbohydrate-rich foods to keep insulin levels steady in the blood, allowing sufficient tryptophan to pass the blood-brain barrier and to have its calming effect on the brain through serotonin production. Now, foods that contain lean protein are crucial for supplying the amino acid tryptophan when consumed with sufficient carbohydrates, either from root vegetables or from whole grains, which also acts as fuel for our brains and our bodies while releasing the insulin, allowing the absorption of tryptophan into the brain. This will lead to an overall improved mental health state. Now, the top best foods for increasing brain serotonin levels are therefore tryptophan-rich foods, including oats, whole wheat, preferably organic, whole grain rice, wild rice, cucumbers, beans, barley, soy, and many more that are listed on the screen. Now, protein-rich plant-based foods you also want to consume, including beans, lentils, peas, tofu, and peanut butter to help the absorption of serotonin. Now, the next foods that will improve mood include foods that lower homocysteine levels. Folate, vitamin B6, and vitamin B12 take part in homocysteine breakdown, and deficiencies in these nutrients result in increased levels of homocysteine in the blood. High homocysteine levels exacerbate mental health states, including depression and anxiety, as well as Alzheimer's, dementia, declining memory, poor concentration and judgment, and lowered mood. High homocysteine levels interfere with the way our cells use oxygen and lead to damage to the arteries and increased free radical damage. Also, homocysteine reduces the oxygen supply in the brain and reduces the function of neurotransmitters. And in high levels, homocysteine is also a neurotoxin. So the top best foods for lowering homocysteine levels are therefore foods that are rich in vitamin B6, including potatoes, chickpeas, butternut, and acorn squash, and foods rich in folate, including leafy green vegetables, as well as citrus fruits and cruciferous vegetables. Also, you want to consume foods that are rich in vitamin B12. Once a week, if you consume meat, then have a lean portion of animal products. But for those consuming a vegan plant-based diet, this vitamin should be consumed via supplements in the absorbable form of methylcobalamin on a weekly basis. Now, the next food group includes foods that form a healthy lipid profile, a healthy fat profile. Foods that are rich in the vitamin B3, niacin, increase the levels of good cholesterol in the blood and improve one's overall lipid profile. Niacin also helps the growth of new brain cells and the repair of existing brain cells, which is essential for mental health and self-control. Phospholipids, which maintain the integrity of the brain cell membranes, are a marker for mental health, and their preservation is dependent on sufficient essential fatty acids in the diet and sufficient fat-soluble vitamins for mental health. On the other hand, high intakes of saturated fats, trans fats, and cholesterol and total calories have been shown to impair mental health. Now, another food source that regulates the integrity and fluidity of the membranes of our cells and prevents brain deterioration are omega-3 fatty acids, essential for our bodies since our bodies cannot produce them, and these fats are vital for our mental health. A study published in 2017 shows that a healthy Mediterranean-style diet that contains high levels of omega-3 fatty acids improve mental health in adults who suffer from depression. Now, the top best foods to form a healthy lipid fat profile are therefore foods that are rich in the vitamin B3, niacin, such as passion fruit, avocado, tomatoes, dates, and potatoes, as well as foods rich in the fat-soluble vitamins, including carrots, kale, and spinach, for beta-carotene precursor vitamin A, as well as leafy green vegetables for vitamin K, and sufficient sunlight for vitamin D. And the last foods that form a healthy lipid profile are foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, including walnuts, chia, flax, and hemp seeds, as well as sea vegetables. Now, the next food group that improve mental health are foods high in antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activities. A tight balance between oxidative stress and antioxidant levels is essential to maintain the structural integrity of the brain cells and optimal functioning of the brain. Phytonutrients, which have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activities, promote neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change when it's needed. Additionally, phytonutrients reduce inflammation, which has been described as a major cause and consequence of mental health conditions. Omega-3 fatty acids, mentioned before, also reduce inflammation. One comprehensive study conducted in England on 14,000 people has shown that fruit and vegetable consumption leads to mental health and well-being in all people. On the other hand, an unhealthy lifestyle with high alcohol intake and high obesity rates leads to low mental health and reduced well-being. Now, the top best foods that are rich in antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity are therefore phytonutrients such as leeks, onions, garlic, eggplants, grapes and berries, mangoes, and many more. Now, the last food groups that improve mental health includes foods that help maintain stable blood sugar levels. Recent findings consistently report a positive association between stable blood sugar levels and mental health. The microbiome is also a key player in the regulation of mood, cognition, and anxiety levels. Dietary fiber, which stabilizes blood sugar levels, is also a prebiotic, and its consumption improves the composition of the microbiome, helping to reduce mental health conditions. So the top best foods to maintain a stable blood sugar level are foods that are rich in fiber and complex carbohydrates, including bananas, oranges, apples, mangoes, and more that are listed on the screen. The bottom line is the link between a healthy diet and improved mental health is clear. Now all that needs to be done is to ensure that you are consuming a nutrient-dense, high fiber, and high essential fat diet with plenty of fruits and vegetables to improve your mental health state, your self-control, and your behavior, and thus your overall well-being. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Ring the notifications button to get information on videos that I upload about once a week. And please visit my website at www.thegorilladiet.com for a lot of health and nutritional information for you and your family, as well as many programs to help you lose weight and achieve optimal health. Thank you very much for joining.